Hey guys, so today we're gonna do one more review of the SH Figuarts Broly Full Power. So it's the design that came along with the 2018 movies. I really liked them, and this movie was kind of my favorite of all time, even though it's not the Broly design I grew up with, but yeah, I can go over it. So we're gonna get the review of the box and the blister, then have a look at the articulation, some posing, and give you my final thoughts on this guy. Let's get going. So let's have a look at the box first. So this is the classic SH Figuarts boxing with the showcase from which you can see the figure itself, so it's quite appealing to me. You get the Tamashii Nation Bandai logo, Dragon Ball Super logo, and some already badass posing. I can tell from here that the shouting face looks really great, so I'm really looking forward to have a look at him closer. On the side of the box you get some close-up of the figure on a purple background. I don't know why they chose purple anyway. And switching to the back of the box, you get some more badass posing here and here. I really like this too. And of course some posing with the Gogeta blue. So obviously recently SH Figuarts has been releasing figures by two so that you can match them. And they're promoting them within the packages. Sometimes they include parts of the other within the same package anyway. And then I think that's all. Yeah, you get more close-up on the bottom of the box, but not so much interest. So let's get going into the review of the blister. So in the blister you get basically two different sets of hands and two faceplates. The first set of hands is the grip hands, and then some open palm hands, and then comes the two faceplates. So you get one shouting face that is remarkably well executed, and you get the teeth grinding face that is kind of smirk. I don't really know why they included this face into this Broly figure, because if you've seen the movie you know that this guy is definitely not the same as we used to know him in the 90s. But yeah, because I really like the Broly from the 90s, I'm glad to have these faceplates. So I guess it's the move that SH Figuarts tried to do with this one. Anyway, let's have now a closer look at the figure itself. So now looking at the figure, the first thing that I wanted to point out is that this guy is freaking huge. He's gonna really stand out on your shelf if you have it. And well, looking at comparison between him and the Goku figure, I'd say he stands about almost two Goku figures, and one Goku figure is about the size of a pen, so you can actually figure out how big this guy is. And I think it's actually a good point, because looking at the movie again, he looks freaking huge, so I think they respect quite well the sizing on it. Then the other thing I wanted to point out is more about the articulation. It's a bit loose on the knee joint and ankle joint, so when you want to stand him on his feet, it's a bit hard to find equilibrium, and it tends to fall just by the weight of the upper body, so it's a bit of a pain, but you manage to sort it out and get some nice posing. And then the third point I wanted to point then is the side of the foot, of course. So when you check the proportions, it's really nice for the top part, the legs and so on, but when you come to the foot, it's like, what the hell? It's like the biggest foot on Earth ever, and they really screwed it up on this. So you will try to find your way to hide it when you pose him. There's some nice way to do it by making him fly and just try to make the foot more elongated and hidden one behind each other. So you can find ways to pass through it, but once you've noticed it, it's hard to forget though. Just wanted to point this out. Also about the painting, it's really good. The painting is amazing. They have put some shading on the upper torso, which is quite rare nowadays in SH Figuarts lines, so I'm really happy about it, and I hope they're gonna continue to do that, which I doubt, but let's hope so. And also wanted to point out that the face sculpt is really sharp. I mean, it's really like badass face sculpt. So yeah, really depicts the aggressivity of the character. So I'm also really pleased about it. Overall, really nice figure. Alright guys, so before we move on to the posing, I wanted to give you an overlook of the joints and articulations. Basically, you can see from this pose that the elbow joint is a bit limited because of the sculpt of the arm, which I understand though, because I really like the sculpt of the arm. It's not a problem to me. Also, well, he can look downward quite well, but it's impossible to make him look upward because of the hair sculpt. But yeah, let's face it, this guy is so huge, he's always looking downward, right? And then looking at the knee joints, it's not the best, but it's okay to me and looks clean enough. It's also functional thanks to this other joint on the green ear. And yeah, so still this really ugly fit, but look at that, looks better, right, overall. So yeah, you can find some posing so it doesn't look so big overall. Anyway, let's shift to some posing, and I'll see you after. Alright guys, so let's jump to the conclusion of this review. So I'll start with the pros, positive points. So the first thing I really liked about this guy is the look. It really looks amazing. The sculpt is really sharp. All the details on the muscle are really nicely done. The scars and the face is really well executed. I also really like the paint job, like the fact that they added shading on top of this magnificent sculpt is really welcome, and I hope they're gonna do it more often on figures with this type of body. Also, at the time I bought him, the price was good because the figure was still really available, so I guess they produced enough for once. So I hope at the time of this video it's still the case. I didn't check online, but eventually if you like this guy you can find him at a decent price, so to me it's a good point. About the negative points now, the first one I wanted to point out is the weight of the figure itself. So if you're using some cheap stands like I do, you may find yourself in a difficult position to make him stand, and so that's pretty annoying. Eventually you'd have to buy a specific stand for this type of heavy figures. Another negative point that I found is, of course, the size of the foot that is really not in scale with the rest of the figure. But again, you can find some poses that kind of hide this, so it kind of end up acceptable. And also I got some loose joint on the ankle, so I don't know if it's a defect on my figure, but if you have the same problem, just put it in the comments so that people know. And yeah, overall I have a very good feeling about this figure, and I really like it on my shelf. It's really imposing, and overall when people look over the shelf, it's one of the first things they notice. So I really recommend you this figure, and I think you would not be disappointed if you're a big Broly fan like I am. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video and that you found some useful information. Don't forget to subscribe and like it if it's the case, and I'll see you next time.